Our next matter is People versus Alicia Barton. Is that you, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're in Crete, Illinois, and we gave you permission to come in by Zoom, and you were here in a timely manner.
Yes, Your Honor.
This is file 231562. You're charged with retail fraud in the third degree, which in Michigan is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Let me find this. It's alleged that on or about June 17th, you were at the Walmart store and you stole $80.44 worth of property. That's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. They stopped you outside the store. It looks like they recovered all the property. This would be a $100 fine plus $125 in costs. How do you plead to the allegation that on June 17th at the Walmart store in Three Rivers, you took some property without paying for it?
That's true. I'm guilty of it.
All right. Did anyone threaten you to get you to plead guilty to that charge?
No.
Or promise you anything other than what I said?
No.
The public defender is here with us. Now, the people that are here live are...
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to know. Is Mr. Rubio in the hallway? Is that the one you're doing for Mr. Pretrial?
No, he's right here on the bench.
If we could put him out in the hall.
Have a seat out in the hall, Mr. Ruby, and the prosecutor will see in just a moment.
Thank you.
He's got his proof of insurance. All right.
Thank you.
Now, this applies to everybody that's here also. Do you understand that if you plead guilty to this charge, you will be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury? There will be no trial. Do you understand that?
Yes.
If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you could not afford one, we could appoint one for you at county expense. If you had a trial, you'd have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so they could be questioned under oath. You would have the right to take the witness stand yourself and testify on your own behalf, but you don't have to because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury could not hold your silence against you, and you have the right to be presumed innocent if and until the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Were you in the Walmart store in Three Rivers on June 17th?
Yes, Your Honor.
How did you happen to be there?
Honestly, it's a long story. My husband was on the run. He was on the run for a long time. He ended up getting picked up in Kalamazoo, and I was left out there basically. And I found out I'm pregnant at the time, and I didn't have money. I didn't know what to do. I don't know anybody, so that was the reason why I don't even steal. I don't do that. I don't have a record of stealing. I don't do none of that. It was just
what kind of stuff did you take?
I got cereal. I took food, and I took a bra because, like I said, I'm pregnant and I was getting bigger. I didn't have no food. I was hungry. That's what it was. Is I took food and there was like.
Where were you staying?
I'm in my car.
All right. Now you live now in Crete, Illinois.
That was my old address. I'm back in Jacksonville. That's way further down. If I was in Crete, I would have been able to make it. But that's my old address. I'm back in Jacksonville, Illinois.
All right. All right. I need to get your address where I can send this, but I don't want to do it here on the live feed.
Okay.
Matea, could you go into the conference room and I'll ask her to give you her address? I'm going to put you in a room with a public defender here in just a moment. Laura, could you turn on the conference room? Anyway, you owe $100 $75 crime victims' rights fee and a $50 state minimum fee. That's $225. There apparently is no restitution. They recovered the property.
Okay.
How long will it take you to pay that?
If you can give me a little while, Judge, only because I'm struggling right now. I'm 6 months pregnant and I'm finally getting housing and stuff taken care of. So if you could give me a little while, I know that's
I'll
not a
make it
lot
due
of
by
money.
December 1st. Good morning, Deborah.
Okay. That would be great.
All right, now, as soon as they open this room, I'm going to put you in a space with a public defender.
Okay.
And I want you to give her your address, phone number, contact information so we can send you this payment.
Okay.
Is your husband still in jail in Kalamazoo?
No, he's in jail in Sangamon County. He had 4 different states he had to get to, but he was in St. Joe actually for the last couple months, and then he just moved to St. Joe probably a month ago. He's been in St. Joe.
Now, the city of St. Joe or the county of St. Joe?
The county that he's, what is it, Centerville? He was in
Yes.
Centerville. Yeah, he was in Centerville for the last,
What's his name?
his name's Justin Burnett. But he's no longer in there. He's in Sangamon County now.
What state is that in?
That is Illinois. That's the capital of St. Louis. Not St. Louis. Illinois. It's the capital of Springfield.
Okay. All right, here is Miss Paycheck. I'm gonna put you two in a breakout room and I want you to give her address. And
Okay.
you can pay this by check, money order, green cash, or you can pay online with instructions in the envelope. So I'm gonna put you in the breakout room. You
Okay.
give her that information. And Matea, thank you for your help.
Not a problem.
All right, and then when you're done, you're free to go. Summer's over, back to work. You got charged in a formal complaint. Does she have an advice of right? Oh, yeah. It's alleged that on or about February 27th, that you were recklessly driving a car on Lafayette Street with willful or wanton disregard for the safety of persons or property, and that you assaulted. And that's a misdemeanor assault battery. The reckless driving charge is substantial in that it carries 6 points and it requires that your license be suspended. Apparently there was an accident and then there was an alleged assault. All right. Matea, my advice would be perhaps we get counsel for this defendant and set it for a pretrial.
I would agree with that.
My advice, because of the assaultive nature and the points and suspension involved in a reckless, that you would plead not guilty and I would appoint an attorney to help you with this. Do you have any objection to that?
No.
You still live on Winslow Street?
I've been currently taking care of a disabled elderly woman in a wheelchair, so I stay down there in Indiana to
Do
do
you get
that.
mail at the Winslow Street address?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna set an attorney pretrial for October 6th. Fair will be over by then. That'll be 8:30. I'm gonna send you out to the counter. And I'm gonna give you, the clerks will give you the date and time to appear.
Okay.
And I want you to call that attorney and make an appointment to discuss it with him prior to that Friday, October 6th date. Somehow, Mr. Taylor got 2 cases in 2 separate courts. Yes. On August 15th, defendant pled to driving suspended first, reduced from a driving suspended second. He indicated he had gotten a job at Clemens in Coldwater and he was going to start working with a good wage, and I set the matter for sentencing. He was going to make a payment and I put him in lockup, but he agreed he was going to start making payments. So this is the date for sentencing. Mr. Taylor, what have you been able to accomplish?
Like I said, I'm in the process of making another payment right now as we speak. I've not driven. I mean, I haven't caught no more driving on suspended.
Well, that's good.
Working.
Are you working at Clemens?
American Axle. I got an interview this Thursday for American Axle. The Clemens, the commute back and forth kind of interfered with everything going on. And
How
then
long did you work there?
at Clemens,
Yeah.
a day.
Yeah, it's real hard work. I was frankly surprised that you were willing to do that. It pays really well.
Yeah, the pay was well. It's just
But
the commute back
you're
and forth.
still a day late and $1 short. All right.
But yes, making a payment right now. No,
So
I'll
you
be-
don't really have a job at American Axle. You have an interview.
Yeah, the gentleman called me Thursday. They called me and set the interview up for this Thursday at 1:30. And if you want, you can call and confirm it. They did call. Can't remember the gentleman's name, but it's he told me to come in and ask to speak with somebody from HR, and then it's for a third shift.
With Axle or one of the ancillary?
No, with
companies?
American Axle themselves through the door. I worked there previously, back in 2018.
What happened to that job?
I was in the probation center, and there was like about 6 or 7 of us from the center that were working there, and they came to us, the people from HR, and they wanted us to all put our applications in. And I put my application in, and they contacted me and said that I falsified information on my application, which I think it's because I didn't list all my charges. It's a union company, so you have to list everything that you've been charged with all together. And I only put my felony at the time that I was dealing with when I was in the probation center. So I think that's what caused them to the tendency to
How
let me go.
much did your girlfriend make as a payment?
She made it was a $45 payment. She made the 50 or $60 she
Well,
paid.
how much have you paid since I saw you? Just that?
No, I made a payment that same day
Okay.
that I seen you. We left from here and we made a payment, and then we're making a payment. I'm set for a payment plan every 2 weeks.
I had some reservations about how you were going to work in Coldwater, living over in Sturgis. I also had some reservations about whether you were willing to do that hard, dirty job.
Yeah, I was willing to do it. It's just the commute is what interfered with it. But the commute from Sturgis to Three Rivers, it'll be a lot easier. Plus, right now we're currently living in a motel, so.
Oh, that's so expensive.
Yeah, and with that, and then once I start working and I start getting my paycheck, we were gonna change from Sturgis to at least get a motel or something closer to Three Rivers, so that way, I can't have the.
Well, it's more than $1,000 a month to live in the country hearth. And
No, we don't stay at the country.
which one?
The traveling, that's not much better, but still we're paying $300 a week.
Yeah, that's a lot. All right, I'm gonna put you a $100 fine, $75 crime victims' rights fee, $50 state minimum fee, $225 payment plan.
But I am trying to make sure I get all this stuff taken care of, because I know that my
Well, you're
slate
not
isn't-
doing a very good job. I saw you. You worked one day since I saw you. You were gonna make big bucks and make all these payments. Your girlfriend's making the payments. The good news is you haven't been driving. But Judge Patterson's got another charge. So you go in there and see Judge Patterson. Then when you're done, go out to the counter and get this all on one big payment plan. Otherwise, we can just do a big jail sentence and wipe out all the fines. But you'd rather pay, and I don't blame you. All right, you go see Judge Patterson. When he's done, you're good. Go in here and then you can go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay,
That is the 750-227D, improper possession of a firearm in a vehicle.
all right. Well, good morning, Mr. Gilmore. This is file 231602FY. The charge is carrying concealed weapon, which is a felony punishable by up to 5 years imprisonment. You were in the car with your co-defendant, Cameron Hodge, not Caden Hodge. She had methamphetamine on her person. You had a gun. You told him it was there. It was registered to you, but you didn't have a CCW permit. So Mr. Marvin is willing to reduce this to a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. It also requires that the gun be forfeited. Do you understand?
I don't think we covered that, Your Honor, and
Well, the gun's gonna get ground up into small pieces by the state police. Does that affect your decision to plead to this charge?
No, man.
Is that statutory as part of this statute, or is
I
it?
believe it is, but even if it isn't, I'm gonna order it. I believe it is. I was required under that statute. The 752 firearm cases don't require destruction, but the 750s do. All right, Mr. Gilmore, you've been patiently waiting here all morning.
Change my attitude. Other than that,
Are you gonna plead to that charge?
yeah, get it over with, man.
All right. Anybody threaten you to get you to do this?
No,
Promise you anything?
no.
Did I have the facts straight? The reason I knew something about it is I had read her information earlier. You were in a car with Cameron Hodge.
Yeah, I was moving out of like you had ubiquitous from the earth, and I was
Yes.
transporting from one place to another, and he was
Well, and I was aware, and I'm not, as you know, I'm not a big fan of that because the rent is so expensive.
Yeah, it was.
Well, it's not expensive if you don't pay it, and you hadn't paid it for some time.
Yeah,
but-
that was a misconstruency with the last managers that were there. We had paid it for June and July.
Well, as a practical matter, you needed to get out of there anyway. And you had this pistol in the car,
It
but,
was initially in the back, but
okay,
when we got pulled into the driveway, I reached for the stuff out of the back, and I guess you're supposed to get out the car and get it out the trunk, but I just folded the seats down because I had everything in my lap when they pulled us over.
well, and you told the officer you had a gun.
Yeah, and then we were in front of the residence we were going to when they initiated the traffic stop.
All right.
We were in the driveway before the lights even came on.
Well, if you probably hadn't put it in your lap, you probably would have been all right.
The car was stopped, like we were
It
getting ready
doesn't
to get
matter.
out.
You were in it and she was driving it. It would have been on the public roadway. I haven't seen you for a long time, other than that eviction case.
Yeah,
Where have you been?
out of the way.
Well, have you been here in St. Joe County? You're just
Yeah. I just,
keeping a low profile?
I'm just staying out of people's business.
All right, well, that's worthwhile. Are you working someplace?
And not no, like a job like that, but I do my own little side work with fixing phones and technical, like electronic stuff.
You were good at that kind of thing.
Yeah, fix screens, phones, computers.
You got arrested on the 21st and you posted bond on the 22nd. And we give you 1 day jail credit, 1 day.
I was in jail more than 1 day. I was in jail for like almost 3 days, 4
Let's
days.
see, 8/19. I guess you're right. That says arrested, but the day was 8/19. You were in jail for 3 days. You got out on the 22nd. 3 days credit, 3 days. I'm gonna make the fine $75. $75 crime victims' rights fee and a $50 state minimum fee. $150 attorney fee. $350. You need some time to pay that?
Yeah, wanted to.
How about if I go to November? Can you do that?
Yeah, I don't have to do it.
11/3/23. Someone I have not heard of in a very long time is your ex-mother-in-law. Is she still around someplace? Was married to your dad?
Oh, Joyce?
No, Karen,
Yeah, oh, my grandfather,
grandfather.
Karen Gilmore. I haven't spoken.
Is she around someplace?
I think she passed away.
Okay, I thought maybe she had. I wasn't
Pretty sure
sure
she
about that.
That was a nice little while ago.
Yes, it was, but you were just a kid when you and I met. We were both a lot younger then. All right, well, you had this gun, it was registered, you just didn't have it properly. And she had a bunch of meth and the whole thing doesn't really seem so good. All right, pay that. If you need more time, come see me. You're good to go.
All right, thank you, man.
This is in the matter of Timothy, oops, let me turn the record on. This is in the matter of People versus Timothy John Weller. Mr. Weller was charged with using a computer to commit a crime, larceny of more than 1,000 but less than 20,000, and larceny over 200 but less than 1,000. The defendant entered a plea to larceny over 200 but less than 1,000. I set the matter for sentencing for today. The matter was bound over to circuit court sometime last year or earlier this year, and then it was remanded back earlier this spring, bound over in May, remanded in July. I canceled Mr. Weller's bond. He wasn't very happy about that, but set the matter for sentencing this morning. And so here we are. The complainant was here the day of the plea, but he wasn't able to be here today. His transportation, Mr. Steve Wilson, was here. Mr. Wilson wrote a letter on his behalf, and but he's not here. But he did express this, essentially turned his life upside down, losing all of this money. Mr. Bush, what would you like us to know here?
Mr. Weller, in open court, agreed to assist jointly and severally on full restitution. I don't know that we'll ever know exactly what happened here. I think there's a fair amount of finger pointing, but Mr. Weller has accepted responsibility for his portion of this case. He is not in the best physical health. He deals with seizures. He's currently off his med. Prior to coming into custody, he was working part-time at the Subway store in Sturgis, Michigan. As often happens to our homeless population in St. Joe County, he's physically lost his ID, he's physically lost his Medicaid card, so he's having a difficult time getting re-involved in services. As I said, he is currently homeless. He has a past history of dealing with community mental health. He wants to re-engage. His diagnosed symptoms were depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. He has spent a substantial time in jail. This is a tragic case to the victim. We reviewed Mr. Wilson's letter. What Mr. Weller is asking is an opportunity to be supervised on probation, to supervise restitution, and to get him involved in community mental health. And it escapes me their current name, I'm sorry. But community mental health or their current successor. I'm going blank on their name. Thank you. Yes, pivotal. Thank you.
I'll hear from Mr. Weller, then I'll hear from Mr. Marvin. Mr. Weller, what would you like us to know?
First of all, Your Honor, I'd like to say I'm sorry for what happened. And like I told you last time, I'll do anything I can to help him.
Well, you got mad and you said you wanted to withdraw your plea.
That's because I was confused.
All right. Do you wish your plea to stand at this point?
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to figure out the bond situation here. You were in custody. I think when Judge Stutzman remanded the case, he reduced the bond. I can't discern that from looking at this file. When did you bond out?
End of May, first part of June, I think it was. I went in there in April, I believe, Your Honor, and me out till like June.
The reason I can't tell is because the bond was posted in circuit court, so it doesn't show up in our register. Hello, Deputy Kindig. I'm trying to calculate how much time Tim Weller's got credit for. Timothy John Weller. He got arrested in April, and I can't tell when he bonded out. All right, thanks. Bye. All right, you went out on April 26th, which is 4 days in April, 27 days in May, which is 31 days. Then I put you back in jail on 8/28, which is 3 days in August and 5 days in September, which is 8 days. So you've got 39 days credit. All right, now you guys, Heather Sproul primarily, and this other guy stole $8,000 from this complainant, and it turned his life upside down. He was working, he had a job, he had an ID, he had saved $8,000. Keystone had a place for him to live. He wasn't supposed to let people live there, but he let you guys live there, and he got ripped off, and he lost his housing, he lost his job, he lost his benefits, and according to Mr. Wilson, he's now living under a tree. He's also relapsed after months of sobriety. How much money did you get?
Your Honor, the only thing I got was like $600. All the rest of it, Heather and them took from me. And I didn't live in Red White at the time. I was,
No,
I was still homeless on the streets.
All right. Now, at one point, you had a Ford Escape. I don't think you had a license, but they said, well, how did you get money to buy this car?
Saving,
Saving from what?
working, doing odd jobs and stuff.
All right. So you bought that car with your own money.
Yes,
You told the officers you got $3,600 and you spent it at the casino, every penny. So is that accurate?
I don't remember, Your Honor, because it was all confusing at the time. But the money I got was $600.
Did you blow it all at the casino?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
Well, where did that come from?
That came from money from me working on the side.
Well, let me just say, I don't believe you. I don't know which lie is correct, but you told officers you went to the casino and gambled it all away and didn't win one penny. Mr. Marvin, what's your position here?
This is a felony, and the reason it's not upstairs is because the laws have changed recently, and they actually have been relaxed, as you know, where the consequence that we used to have, or the threat of prison, it doesn't even exist. As a matter of fact, there's an assumption that anything under 18 months is not even jail. So upstairs, this would have been probably no more jail. And what I'm interested in is getting that man his money as soon as we can, if it's possible. But there also had to be a consequence. I don't think 39 days is enough for what happened. Whatever he did with the money, whatever they did with the money, I can tell you that an account was set up by the guy sitting here in this room right now. And then $8,000 is transferred to the account that he set up. And whatever his friends did with it, I don't know. But it was pretty bad because they preyed on this man, took advantage of him.
I will when he's finished. This is his turn.
So I think that we're down here because the law has changed. And if I want to get anything done, it's through this court. So I'm balanced. Now I've got to try to juggle. If he had enough money to save up to buy a car, which I doubt, then that means he can get to work and start paying back this man who's now homeless and in really bad shape. But I also think that 39 days for what he's done is I don't think that's enough, Your Honor. I think it's pretty bad what happened here. And there's got to be, I'll leave that to you, obviously, but I think it should hurt a little more. I don't know if this is a matter of I'm sorry I did it or I'm sorry I got caught.
Well, and I don't believe he's telling me the truth. And I think there's also a methamphetamine factor here. You were high when I saw you, and you're not now. You've been in jail for 8 days and your head is on straight. So that's a plus. But you're homeless, jobless, you have a methamphetamine addiction, and you're not telling me the truth about what happened to this guy's $8,000. The only way to collect it is to try to put you on a probation, and I really don't want you on probation. And I think it's unlikely we're going to get $8,000, but the guy is clearly out the money. What else did you want to tell me, Mr. Weller?
Your Honor, like I said, I'll do anything to pay this man back. I'm remorseful for what I did. Whatever it takes to pay this man back. Because I just need time to get a job to start paying money back, however I can get it back to him. I'm gonna take responsibility for this.
All right. Well, I wish you'd tell me the truth about what happened. When's the last time you worked a real job?
So what?
All right. Well, you're not going to be able to pay. Now, supposedly you saved up money and bought this car. I'm not sure I buy that. I don't know if this money went to buy this car. You don't have a license anyway.
Part of it did, 600 of it did. The other money I came up with.
All right. So I don't. All right. My apologies to the probation department. 24 months probation.
I don't care if it's flipping a burger at McDonald's, Your Honor, it's still a job.
There's honor in every job. 100 days, credit 39, leaving 61 days to do. The fine is 0. The crime victims' rights is 75, a $50 state minimum fee. I'm going to waive the probation oversight fee. I'm going to waive the attorney fee. You know, $8,000 restitution, joint and several, meaning it gets paid. I don't care who pays it, but theoretically you're half. But you're still not telling me the truth. I don't know whether you gambled it away, bought a car, bought tarot cards. I don't know what you did with it, but you're not being truthful. And the likelihood of you getting, first of all, you got to get out, get a place to live, get a job, which is what Mr. Wilson had helped this guy do. Helped him get ID, helped him get a job. helped him get a place to live through Keystone, helped him get sober. And the guy was really doing well. And they, Mr. Wilson is part of this homeless outreach group in Sturgis where they help people with just fundamental things. All that stuff. And then Mr. Wilson took him to the bank and he realized his $8,000 was gone and he just fell apart. For naught. You guys took his money and blew it. It was very devastating to him. And anything we get back is better than none. That's $8,125. No alcohol, no drugs, substance abuse counseling and treatment is directed. I don't really want you on probation. One option was just give you 365 days in jail, but as Mr. Marvin says, that doesn't get this guy any money. We'll see if we can squeeze some out. Anyway, you've got 61 days to do minus good time, which will be about 50 days. It'll also give you more time to detox from the methamphetamine. You don't have money to live or eat, but you manage to scrabble up enough money to feed your methamphetamine addiction, and we need to deal with that also. All right, you can go with the court officer.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.